Good morning, everybody. It is July 6th at 11:44 a.m. I just wanted to make a quick video because a couple days ago I had made a video because I became aware of certain things that I was like I didn't know that anything like that was going on, and it had just all hit me as I'm having like some kind of an awakening. It all hit me, and I was angry about it. And when you first realize something really negative that possibly went on, of course you're going to be angry about it. That's how you deal with it, and you grieve through it and stuff like that, and work through it. You got to work through the feelings. And now that I'm not high all the time like I was, even though I am on medication, but I'm not high. I'm learning how to work through things, and instead of running to like a drug to go, whether it's pot, whether it's alcohol, whether it's benzos and opiates were my thing, mostly, and then, I started smoking pot. I was able to tolerate it. I started doing that, and that was the new thing for a while, and it's like now I have to work through everything without doing that, because of the pregnancy, and not only that, because that's how you're supposed to do things. Putting a band-aid on top of a gaping wound isn't the answer, it's just not the answer. You got to work through things, and that's what I've been doing, the best that I can. And, just because certain things happened doesn't give you an excuse to be a bad person, and there was no real excuse for any of the behaviors that I've had. I was on some kind of like autopilot. It's just something that can't even be explained or understood, but it was almost like I was on autopilot, and I was just going. My body was just acting. Was just going through the motions of whatever thoughts were fed. Sometimes I don't really even know where certain thoughts came from. I have no clue. But a lot of it was negative, and I'm learning how to rewire my brain, so that, I start thinking positively and getting rid of the negative, replacing, and when the negative thoughts come, to replace it with positive, because a lot of things were adopted by other people, that actually wasn't even me at all. It was adopted from watching and experiencing, other people around me, and I had pretty much everything as a child. My dad worked hard, and I was always provided for. I always had food and, everything. It was certain things going on that I don't even think they realized what was going on either. They might not have, they may have. I'm not sure on that. I'm not clear on that. That's a conversation for another day, but no matter what, it's our perception about things. Also, like a child could be stung by a bee and shrug it off and be fine, and then another child could be stung by a bee and be scarred for life over something that small. And not even if even if they weren't allergic to it. It's something that it's everybody's perception, so certain things can happen, and for other people, a lot of other people, no big deal, what's the big deal? Get over it, But then there's people who have a perception that certain things can happen, and it really affect their entire life. So a lot of things did happen that did affect my entire life, like had a horrible impact on it. I lost all passions that I have ever had, like butterfly feelings about certain things that I enjoyed doing, whether I was good at it or not, or whether I thought I was good at it or not, or other people thought I was good at it or not. It was something I enjoyed doing. Sometimes it's about the enjoyment of doing things. It's not about how great it comes out or how great other people think it is. It's you're enjoying what you're doing. It's fun to do. It makes you feel good, and I lost that for a long time, and I'm just starting to find things to be passionate about again, because what's a life without being passionate about something? What's a life without doing things that you enjoy? And another thing also was that I am a very codependent person. I depended on other things for my happiness. Whether it was a boyfriend, whether it was friends, whether it was family, whether it was money, whether it was drugs, there was always something I wanted to, I needed in order to make me happy, looking on the outside for things to make me happy. And I finally realized it. I knew I was codependent, but I just thought it was in relationships and stuff like that, but then I really realized, I depend on a lot of things to make me happy. The money issue is because of the homelessness I went through and stuff. I really didn't give two shits because money can't buy happiness, and I learned that lesson a long time ago. But then money, of course, we need it to live and survive, absolutely. But you can't be codependent on it for your happiness because it will not make you happy. You can be a billionaire and still be unhappy. You have to find happiness within, and you have to find positive things to do, to enjoy, and that's what I'm learning to do at this present moment, is learning to do that. And also I stopped taking care of myself. I wasn't taking care of myself, my hygiene every day. I was letting the house get a mess, and it's just me here. There's no excuse for it. There's just no excuse for it. So, those are the things I'm working on right now. Those are important, showering every day, washing your hair, washing your face, keeping your area clean, it's just respect for yourself, never mind having people over and your face falling on the floor because everything's a mess. But, what about you? What about me? What about me living in a cluttered area? How does that really make me feel? And I feel awful when things are a mess, I do, and I'm sure others do. I'm sure everybody knows how that feels. So it's there's a lot of work that needs to be done on myself, and to not dwell on things and stress over things, it's just not worth it. It's not worth getting upset over, and it's really important to get some spiritual influence. Whether you want to believe the God of the Bible, whether, whatever religion you want to go on, or whatever higher power you want to believe in. But it really is important. And like I said before, to me, there is no right religion. It's what you absorb from what you learn about it, and how you act, your way of walking in life. That's really important. And there was a long period of time that, I pretty much became, I guess, an atheist. I didn't believe in God anymore. I believe that I'm the one who makes things happen. I have to make it happen. And it's true to an extent. I do have to make it happen. But also, you have to be grateful. You have to be grateful to something, whether it's the universe, whether it's Mother Gaia, no matter what it is. You got to be grateful for something. Whatever you believe created everything. To me, I owe some gratefulness. Because I don't think that I'd have everything that I have if it wasn't for that higher power looking over me, and surrounding me with, whatever you want to call it, angels, spirit guides, whatever you want to call it. If it wasn't for that higher power, I wouldn't have that, and I know what it's like to be in the darkest times ever, not to have anybody, not to have a place to rest my head, so once you start losing that gratitude, certain things can throw you off. A lot of things can throw you off of that thought pattern of gratitude, and that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. I got involved with something or somebody, and I was thrown off the path of gratitude, and I started becoming a bitch. Straight up, I started becoming a total bitch, and all those negative behaviors I started doing again, and I'm glad that all this happened, that this awakening happened, because there was so much that I realized about myself, that I didn't even see that I was straight up like on autopilot, and whatever thoughts were coming into my head, I was just doing whatever came, and there has to be some kind of filter, and I finally woke up and saw, there were things that I was focusing on that had no business being focused on. When there's so many other things to be focused on that are more important, like my inner self, working on that, building that up, taking care of myself, whether it's health wise, whether it's hygiene wise, whether it's cleaning my home wise. All that stuff is important, so now it's like I have to, I can't jump into the things that I want to jump into. It just doesn't work that way. It's baby steps, so now it's like, let's get on a schedule of getting up at a certain time, which I usually do anyway, and having like some sort of a routine. Let's follow the routine. Let's see, let's get through that and keep that up. And then, let's take it from there. It's baby steps. Even though, like I said, I want to just jump right into certain things, but it doesn't work that way. A lot of things need to be worked on. A lot of things need to be grieved through. Pretty much the loss of myself, the person I was, I have to grieve that. That has to be grieved, because I can't go on like that anymore. I can't. It's negative. It's destructive, it really is. So I just want to say, again, when I was on autopilot, I did a lot of destructive things that I didn't realize. I didn't realize it at the time, what I was actually doing, or what an impact it would have had. I didn't think about all that at the time. The thoughts and memories didn't catch up until afterwards. So I apologize to anybody that I hurt. I want you to know that I didn't know. I didn't realize what was going on at all. I was totally oblivious, and I apologize. And, I don't, that's up to anybody. It's up to whoever, if they want to forgive me and give me another chance. And I'm not talking about relationship wise, because I'm not interested in any type of relationship with anybody, even if it's ever again. I don't care. After the things that just recently occurred, I don't think I could ever bring myself to be in another relationship again. I have to learn to love myself, and just learn, that I'm going to have to rely on God and my angels around me and things like that to get through life. That depending on a boyfriend or a friend, there's an extent, that you can depend on people. So, right now I'm just kind of we're just working on myself, working on loving myself and being a friend to myself, and then hopefully later on I'll be able to find real friends, real friends that really care, and not that aren't fake or paid or whatever, real friends that really care, that have the same views, that want to be helpful people and loving people, and not people that talk behind your back and tear you down, and all those things that I hate. I became all of those things. It's like when you pass judgment, you always end up becoming that judgment, whether you judge somebody on being an alcoholic, whether you judge somebody on being a drug addict, a loser, a bum, all these things, it happens to you. It ends up happening to you, so that's another thing, thinking positively and hoping positive things for people, even your enemies, pray for them, wish for whatever they're doing, whether it's rumor mongering, whatever it is, pray for them, pray for them and wish healing upon them, that they'll see what they're doing, because some people do things and they don't even see what they're doing, and then there are people who actually enjoy being that way, that are actually naturally wicked and actually enjoy tormenting people and smearing people. That was never me. When I did those things, I never sat back and said to myself, haha, look at all the things I said about that person. Now everybody's gonna think a certain way, and they're gonna think bad about that person. Ha ha ha. I never sat back and did that. I had to really evaluate it. Really evaluate it. It was more of having to vent. I had to vent about things, and I did it in an inappropriate manner. I sure did. But now, when I sat back and really thought about it, what were your intentions when you did that? Did you really do that so you can really hurt that person? Or did you do that because you were venting, you were angry, you were upset, you were confused, you were hurt, and I really sat back and evaluated it. And that's the truth. It was never to harm anybody. Anytime I've ever done that, it was never to harm anybody. I think in the past, there were times that I may have, said maybe to myself or to maybe one other person something. It's easy to gang up on a person, when they're doing harmful behaviors and hate. It's easier for people to see black and white, to see, oh, that's a good person and that's a bad person. Let's cling to the good person and hate the bad person, but sometimes you really got to sit back and say, what's up with that bad person? Why are they doing the things that they're doing? Sometimes you really got to sit back and evaluate that, I'm really glad, man. I'm blessed. I am so blessed to realize all the things that I've realized and all the suffering that has happened in my life and all the things I've been through. I did it to myself, because I didn't realize all these things. I was running on autopilot, and just kind of doing whatever thought was fed to me, and never really sat back and evaluated anything the way I'm doing now, and filtering everything, filtering the thoughts. That's a negative thought. Let's redirect it. Let's pray for it to pass. Whatever it is, however you got to deal with it, and then eventually I'm not going to have to deal with it at all because it'll be completely taken care of, So, my advice is just to rely on some kind of a higher power, in a positive way. When you do things, this is what I'm doing from now on. Whenever I plan on something or plan for something, I'm going to sit back and close my eyes and play the entire intention out. So let's say I'm planning on going shopping. I'm going to sit there, I'm going to close my eyes, and I'm going to play the entire thing out of my intentions, right? So I'm pregnant, and my belly's getting really big. So I only have a few t-shirts that are kind of like guy t-shirts, that fit me right, without my belly sticking out. So when I go to the store to get t-shirts, I'm going to close my eyes, I'm going to play the entire intention out. I'm going to go there, and I'm going to picture myself trying to find the right size, possibly trying it on, and it fitting comfortably so that it's not tight around the my stomach or anything like that, and play it out, going to the register, paying for it, not stealing it, and then leaving, right? Play the whole thing out. That way there's no way for it to backfire, because there are times where you can have an intention to do something innocent and it backfires because the entire intention hasn't been played out. They can take a thought or something you say, and they can twist it very easily and say, oh, she needs to go to the store to go shopping. She's going to shoplift, or she's going to do this, or she's going to do that. So let's make it backfire. But playing the entire scene out, the entire intention out, and then not only that, if any negative can come from it, you will play it out. You'll be able to foresee it. I wasn't doing that. I was just thinking and doing, thinking and acting. The thought came and acted. I never played out what could be the consequences of that if I do something like that. What could be the consequences if I shoplift? What could be the consequences if, I run my mouth about somebody? What could be the consequence if, I'm disrespectful to that person? Play the intention out, and that's what I've been doing, and it's really been helping. I'm making these videos too. I'm not really worried about anybody even watching them, but I'm hoping that once my behavior is completely changed and transformed, that I can actually help somebody. That's really my goal. I play that intention out all the time. The hopes and plans that I have are really nothing but to help others, the ones they call hopeless. There's hope. Like I said, there is hope. There's a lot of different coping skills besides using drugs and alcohol. And it's hard to see it when you're in the midst of that addiction, using and abusing. There is definitely, it's very, very difficult to see past that, because, you're enjoying the feeling of the drunk or the high. You're enjoying that. It takes away so many, different, painful things. There's just like 1,000,001 reasons why people stay in the midst of addiction. It's too difficult to get out of. Like I said, there's 1,000,001 reasons to stay in it, but you got to find that one big reason why to get out of it. It's eating up all your money. Every penny that comes to you, it eats up. Even a cigarette habit that I'm dealing with right now. I can't even imagine how much money I'd save if I would quit. So the next time I have enough, a good amount, I already played the intention out of what I'm gonna do to quit. Because I know it's possible. That's probably been one of my biggest feats, that was the first addiction I've ever had, was cigarettes. And that's a hard one. That's a very hard one. I've been smoking since I was 13 years old, and now I'm pregnant, and I did smoke through 2 of my pregnancies. And the funny part is, they were normal weight. My first child, I didn't smoke. I quit smoking, and she was underweight. She was the tiniest of them all, and I didn't smoke with her. That was the funny part. That really is kind of funny when I sit back and think about it. But, I want the baby to be healthy. That's why I stopped doing all the things that I was doing. And even now, there are certain things that I don't have control over right now. And I do feel really guilty about that. But I know that God is with us, and I know He's going to make everything okay. And now that I'm in a clear state of consciousness and mind, I can start focusing on the important things, taking care of myself, so that the baby's healthy, doing it for myself and for the baby, not worrying about people on the outside, not worrying about, not doing things to get any kind of validation. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's nice to get a pat on the back. It's nice to get noticed. Yeah, I really see you have changed. I'm really amazed by your transformation. You are doing a good job. You're staying clean. I have pages and pages of my drug tests and urine screens that, prove that I'm clean. All those things, it's nice, don't get me wrong, but you gotta be proud of yourself, you gotta be proud of yourself, and that has to matter more to you than what other people say or think. There's like a lot of lessons that I'm being taught right now, really a lot. And like I said, there's hope. And I just want to say, like I said, there's hope for the hopeless, the ones they call hopeless. There's hope. There's a way out of this. But it starts from within. It starts from within. It starts from breaking codependency, and exchanging bad habits with good habits. If you're going to be addicted to something, be addicted to doing healthy things, just in this past week, I finally realized, all the unhealthy things I was doing. I wasn't eating healthy. Every time I wanted to quit smoking, I'd end up smoking 10 times more. It's just like, I'm like praying. I'm like, God, what is going on here? I'm trying my best. I'm thinking positive things, and what's going on here? And I have to play the true intention out, the whole thing out of what I'm going to do, how it's going to work. Okay, and then once I can afford it, then actually act on it. So I have a plan for it. I'm not gonna go and discuss that. But oops, I'm not gonna discuss the plan. But I'm going to check in. I'm gonna check in and let everybody know how it. Let me see. I'm gonna let everybody know how it's going. Because I know a lot of people struggle with this, smoking, that's a big deal, man. A lot of people have that habit, just listen to my voice. This wasn't even always my voice, this raspiness, and now I'm getting like a little cough and everything. It's just no good for me. It's no good for the baby, so it's really time. As soon as, like I said, as soon as I can afford to carry out my plan, I'm going to, but just be blessed, even your enemies, just wish the best for them, wish healing upon them, people who put you down, people who tear you down, like I said, just wish the best for them, play out the true intention of what you do, so that it doesn't backfire, and that, so that nobody can take it as, a negative. Break codependency, find a passion you love. All these things I'm working on right now. But for anybody going through some of the things that I'm going through, that's what I would do. I would try to break all the codependencies upon, other people, relationships, family, children, money, watching TV. I have an addiction to being on my phone. Don't get me wrong, I'm not gonna lie about it, but when I'm on the phone, I'm looking at self-help things. I'm looking at all self-help. I barely watch anything besides something that I believe can help me. Sometimes I'll listen to music, but most of the time I am, trying to watch things that, I can use for my benefit, to heal me and to make me a better person for myself, for my children, for my family, for other people, so bless everybody, and I'll check in with you guys in a couple days. Also, forgive, forgive those who have hurt you, whether it was their intention or not. Forgiveness is a big one. Wish them the best, wish healing upon them. And another thing I wanted to say too is that I wrote something for my grandmother that I wanted to read, because like I've said in other videos, actually she was always been kind of like my hero, my inspiration, because she had 7 kids to take care of, and my grandfather walked out on her and just did some really mean stuff to her, and she had 7 children to take care of, and she worked full time, and that's a lot for a woman, for a single woman to deal with, and at the same time have a husband that is doing those types of things. So I wrote this for my grandmother, my hero. She may now have a crown of gray and silver, but she is my inspiration and my hero. She has had many children. She has had to face it alone. She has had to work full time with 7 children on her mind. She has had to fight fear and anxiety and depression all at the same time. Now here she is, as many years have passed, retired and blessed and mostly at peace. I don't get to see her. It's actually been years. I don't get to speak to her much either. But I'll always have her image in my mind, strong, walking with grace and filled with joy, family, friends, and grandchildren, and a faith stronger than any bond that can break. Bless her as she lives day by day. Let her be reminded that she is blessed in every way. She is my grandma, and I'll never forget the memories we've had. Lord, may she always be blessed. So I wrote that for her. I even sent it to her. But yeah, I would definitely, it's another thing too. Think of people in your life that has inspired you, that you said, man, I wish I could be like that, Now looking back, I wish that I would have just, the minute I started to feel addicted to painkillers, I wish I would have just got help right away, and said, I want to be more like her. I want to focus on my family. I want to focus on my children. I wish so badly I can go back in time and do that. I wish, and there's nothing you could do. There's nothing you could do to go back in time. The only thing you do is change yourself now and make now count. And use that inspiration for what's going on right now in this current situation. So, God bless everybody. I wish everybody the best. Be the best you can be. Don't let anybody dim your light. And there is hope for the hopeless. Okay? Love and blessings to all.